Welcome back to the Whatnauts Reactor Core. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined by Melissa Wilkinson.
Hello.
Melissa, who is your uncle, and what does he do?
I have an uncle who's a nurse. I have an uncle who owns like cute little motel cottages in Arizona. I have uncles who do all kinds of things.
I have an uncle who runs a dairy farm.
Wow.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Do you get all the butter you want?
Unfortunately, no, we don't.
Oh.
I wish that I had like a lifetime supply of butter. That would be like the one fun fact that I could say, like at those like awkward like circles where everyone has to like introduce themselves and say like a fun fact about them. Wouldn't that be great to just be like, hi, my name is Kyle Springer. Fun fact about me. I have a lifetime supply of butter.
That's I don't underestimate yourself. That's a good one. But you have plenty of fun facts you can say about yourself. One time you ate 2 cotton candies at once because a Harlem Globetrotter handed you a cotton candy when you already had one, and your parents were like, we can't deny him this. The Globetrotter gave it to him. That's one of my favorite Kyle facts.
It's good. It's good. Melissa, we are here to talk about Hawkeye episode 3. We're, I guess, halfway done with the show now. I think it's only supposed to be 6. What did you think of this one here? Episode 3.
This brought a lot of new stuff to the table. This was exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked this one a lot. I think my favorite thing about the show so far is it's very understated, right? This is not like universe shattering, like who's going to be the next Captain America, WandaVision. There's a whole town in this like magical what's happening? It's just this like I don't feel like we've really uncovered all of the secrets yet in this show, but it's Hawkeye, who's just a normal guy. He's a dad, right? Just trying to get home to his family. It's Kate Bishop, who is just a normal girl who just wants to do the right thing and like have this hero to look up to, but she's I guess maybe not yet, but is maybe about to realize that maybe Hawkeye has some secrets that maybe she might not like down the road here. But it's this like much more understated show, right? There's no big stakes yet.
Yeah, it's nice to have a good street level show here in the mix when everything else has been big international politics and espionage or real cosmic stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I thought the action in this one was phenomenal. I think they stepped it up. They were like, okay, we gave you the first 2, which kind of set everything up, but now we need things to explode. And we got some great fight scenes in here. There's a car chase. I liked the move where they're in the like KB Toys warehouse and Kate like slides on the floor, but like spins around the column, like she catches it to like spin herself there. That was neat. Just like good action. I felt like this one was a lot of fun, but it also had some really good emotional like punches. There is the opening scene where we find out more about Echo. And then there's the scene when Hawkeye's on the phone with his kid. But both of those were, great scenes that I think will add a lot of heart to this show here. So
it has been very sweet. Yes.
First up, let's talk about Echo. What do you think about her and her whole backstory here?
I like that that's how this episode opened. It's a very neat mirror to Kate's opening at the very beginning of episode 1. I wonder if maybe 2 episodes from now we'll get like a little Hawkeye flashback. See little Clint, maybe something he did. I wonder if the pattern is complete or if this pattern will continue in another episode. But I was aware that she was deaf. I was not aware that she had a prosthetic leg. That was new. I don't remember that coming up in any of the like introductions to the character I heard about in like theory and breakdown videos. So I'm curious about that addition.
Yeah, that's not a thing from the comics, I think. So I wonder if that's even just the actress, like one of them is I don't know.
I feel like I also would have heard that. Because I've heard her casting was announced a while ago, and it was like maybe
it's the younger kid, like and like
they loved this kid. Yeah. She had a prosthetic leg, and they're like, well, we're gonna do this to the adult performer as well. Yeah, we'll fit this in.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I'm curious about it.
Who knows? I guess we can look it up on the internet at some point and see, but where it might be revealed in the show that there is some backstory here to all of that.
Dude, perhaps some sort of accident or attack, or maybe it's just not tragic at all, just another facet of her character. It could lead to a lot of different things.
Yeah, indeed. I thought this whole backstory of Maya, I thought was really sweet. I thought she has a great relationship with her father. Like she's so close to him that when she does eventually witness Ronan killing him, like this is the moment where she goes down this path, right? That has led her to where she is now. And I think we're still going to learn more information about that moment and stuff down the road, because one of the big scenes is that she's in this karate dojo learning how to fight and protect herself, and this is where we kind of see that she is very observant. And I think saying she's very observant is also an understatement, like because in the comics her powers is that she can mimic other people if she sees like them do something. So she's picking up on all these techniques and stuff like that, but they haven't explained it as she has powers or stuff. It's just she is watchful, she's observant. But she's there, and the father is like, hey, I have to go do some work, your uncle will take you home. And then in steps this mysterious big man. Who we don't see who it is exactly. He pinches her cheeks. He has like a sweet laugh, and then that's it. He walks away. That's all we see.
This is Uncle.
Who's the uncle?
Oh, it's got to be Kingpin. 100% Kingpin. Safe money.
I really think this is Kingpin. I don't necessarily think that was Vincent D'Onofrio in that scene.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily think that was his voice. It didn't really look like his hands, though I'm also not really familiar with his hands in detail like that. Like that's not his thumbnail. He has a scar on it, you know. I don't know. But yes, I believe this is Kingpin. I think that's a safe bet here, and that we will see him by the end of this show, at least, if not.
What a Christmas gift. Bring Kingpin home for Christmas. Share him with your family.
Absolutely.
What did you think about this conversation that Echo is having with her dad, where she's talking about dragons? Because we've had literal dragons just earlier this year in Shang-Chi.
Exactly that, of like, oh, wait till she meets Shang-Chi.
Right. But another thing I was thinking of was that big Chitauri that was like flying through the sky in the Battle of New York. That's a dragon-esque. I was wondering if we were going to, because I think when we first see her, it's 2007. I was wondering if we were going to get an additional flashback to 2012, where she sees this dragon-type creature literally break through from a hole in the sky.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Like I wonder if it's just a nod to her, like kind of wanting to believe in better things or like more fantastical things. Just the nature of her character. But yeah, that would be interesting to see what she's up to during the attack on New York. Is she still in New York? Is she off training somewhere?
Yeah.
What is she doing? So I don't know. We'll see. But I think we're going to learn a lot more info on this whole situation here, because my theory is that maybe we see Ronan stabbing her father and then like jumping out the window, moving on to the next guy. We hear in passing that Ronan basically got rid of most of the organized crime in New York, except for the people at the very top. Like they say he almost got away with all of it, but he didn't.
Yeah.
So my theory, especially because Hawkeye in the comics started out as a villain, I'm wondering if maybe we will see a little bit more of that in this show. Maybe he did work for Kingpin at one point, or took some odd jobs, or was hired by Kingpin to take out the tracksuit mafia. So Echo will see Ronan being the one actually stabbing him, but down the road we'll learn that it was her uncle being the one to either hire Ronan or give the order, or who knows. It could be something along those lines there. What would you think of that if something like that was the case?
Oh, I like that angle. I'm not sure how that would play in Hawkeye's swan song. It seems like an odd thing to like kind of leave this character on. Not that he may not, occasionally he may pop up from time to time as the MCU goes on. This is largely the closing the book on Clint Barton. I'm not sure how it would play to find out in the final chapter of the Barton book that he was a gun for hire for Kingpin. But perhaps they could pull it off, yeah.
Seems to be that he's hinting at he's done some terrible things. We know he's killed a bunch of people as Ronan, killed criminals, but he still murdered a lot of people, right? So I don't put it past him to have been like, yeah, before I was an Avenger, before I worked for S.H.I.E.L.D., right? I maybe picked up a few odd jobs with Kingpin or whoever. And I think in the comics, it was Daredevil who killed Echo's father, or that is what she's led to believe. And then she finds out that it was Kingpin. So I'm wondering if they're basically taking that same thing to be like, it was Hawkeye, but it was actually Kingpin that was the one here. And I think somewhere along the line, everyone will find out that Clint, or Hawkeye at least, and Ronan are all the same people. That this information will get out. And I think this is around the same time that Val, at the end of Black Widow, goes to Yelena and is like, hey, do you want to hunt down this guy? Because we now know that he's done some stuff here. Which
that all connects.
Is she supposed to make an appearance in this? Did I remember that?
I do remember hearing this. Yeah, we are supposed to see Elena at some point. So
I don't know where this ends up. Do you think Hawkeye is alive at the end of this? Is Clint alive at the end of this? Does he get to go home to his family for Christmas and retire, or
he'd better
not? I hope so. I hope he just gets to retire and go be himself, be a dad there.
Yeah. I think that would be too sad of a move for him to die. Just have him go off, live on the farm quietly.
Yeah. Not what's the saying? He bought the farm. We don't want that.
Farm's already purchased.
Yeah. No.
No need to buy additional farm.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like something along those lines could happen in this show, or at least set things up so that, once Echo gets her own show, which we know is a thing that they are making, maybe this is where she deals more with Kingpin or something else. Who knows? But moving on, though, they escape custody of the tracksuit mafia. There's this big chase scene and a big fight scene at the KB Toys there. What did you think of all of this stuff here? This had one of my favorite moments, the big Pym arrow here.
Yes! I'm so happy that was the cap to this entire scene. He's pulling out these arrows that it's possible that it wasn't until Hawkeye the series that they thought, now we can play around with tone and give him these silly arrows, but we'll pretend he always had them. Or if they're going to say that these only arrived like post Endgame and that's why we haven't seen them before. Like, who designed these? Were these his ideas? Whose idea was it for purple goo arrow? And then we get to the Pymtech arrow, and I'm like, yes, I can see like Scott getting in on this, and he's just like, make a goo one, Hank, a goo one.
What do you mean goo, Scott? But I like how
I'd
would
love to hear
neat...
Michael Douglas shout the word goo.
How would you feel about Hank Pym being the Avengers Q and just making all of these gadgets? Yeah?
Yeah,
I think that'd be
he's
fascinating.
An old man loves to tinker. That's the number one old man hobby.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know if this means other Avengers now have Pym tech mixed in with their stuff. I don't know who could have what, but that would be neat to see as they all start like sharing stuff, right?
I would love to see that.
You have this, you have that. Yeah, I think that would be neat. I liked the car chase in this. I like how she ends up making fun of his plunger arrow, which is a callback to the like old school Silver Age comics where the trick arrows and stuff were a big thing, and he would just have his plunger arrow there.
I hope that comes back. I hope we get to see a legitimate use for plunger arrow.
Well, we did. That was the one that he used to stick on the train that saved him at the end.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry, I missed that. Yeah.
The end cap, and she responds like, "Oh, I get the plunger arrow now."
I watch these like in the morning while I eat breakfast, and sometimes I do miss details because I'm like poking at my oatmeal or something.
What did you think about the dongle arrow, the USB arrow, which we've gotten to see in What If? And it was a huge big thing. Right. It was the thing that stopped Ultron, right? That infected him with the virus.
I want him to have every kind of arrow. I want there to be a nail file arrow. Okay. Just holding an entire arrow to fix up your nails, during downtime.
What's her name?
An arrow that's
Lady Deathstrike from the X-Men movie that had the like really long nails and can do all that stuff. Take that, Lady Deathstrike.
I have a large nail file, ma'am. Let me take it to you. We just need a big enough nail file, and Lady Deathstrike neutralized.
Exactly. Yeah, I liked that whole chase sequence. I liked the like revolving camera thing that they did here. I did think that you could kind of tell a lot of it was green screen. But I don't necessarily think that was a problem because I was having so much fun with this. It was just like I'm just enjoying this. Like they're having a good time with this.
They are.
So, yeah.
I was so startled when they ran over the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube Santa. I yelped. I've never seen that done to one of those, and I'm like, no, those are innocent. Those are neutral ground. You don't touch them. They're like a field medic. Nobody touches any wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube being of any kind.
He apologizes. He's like, sorry, Santa.
He did. I appreciated that. Thank you. You got to recognize what you did.
Yeah. It's like, how some people when they get a yellow light and it's like they like speed up and they like do the little kiss thing on, they're like, sorry, like I know I was supposed to slow down, but it's like that. I've seen people, like multiple people will do like a small kiss to the like
to the car.
Well, they'll
gods?
Like to whatever gods you choose. No, they like kiss their hands like they're about to blow a kiss, but then they will like touch the roof of their car, but it's meant to be like for I guess like for the light itself as they pass it.
Weird.
Of just like an apology, or like I don't know, I've seen multiple people do that or do similar things.
I don't have any car superstitions. It always surprises me when people have one. I thought you were describing somebody like running a yellow light and as some sort of an apology to the people behind them who are seeing them do something risky. They're like, I blow a kiss to you, my fellow humans. He left you behind.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but yeah, at least he apologized and he recognized what he
saying is okay.
He did, yeah. Something else that I thought was neat. Apparently, Kazi was in the dojo. That karate dojo. He was that smaller kid who got taken out. That first one. There's the black kid who's standing there, and the white kid gets his butt whooped there. That's apparently young Kazi, who I guess is the other villain in this one who can do all the sign language and stuff there. I think he's more the clown guy that I know from the comics. But I don't know here. In the comics, there's a villain that wears like clown makeup, not like big like Ronald McDonald type, but still the like white face paint with the like Harlequin like sad tear things underneath the eyes, and I think he had like purple lipstick or something like that. I think that's the same character here in this, but could be wrong. But I don't know.
I like that later on in the episode, we got a scene that is Kazi and Echo talking to each other. I'm happy that very promptly they made sure to illustrate to us he is not strictly in the role of translator. That is what he does. But this character is going to be more than that. He's going to have his own viewpoint, his own dialogue, and conversations with Echo that we get to see.
Yeah. I think he's going to end up being one of the more main villains of this show, especially since Echo's character in the comics does stop being a villain. Like she ends up changing sides. And so I think there is this camaraderie between the two, especially if they met way back when they were kids, right? Like they must have some kind of strong relationship. And then I think when we find out more about the death of her father and what happened and all of that stuff, I think Echo is going to kind of end up changing sides, whereas Kazi is going to be like, what the hell? Like, no, you just left me here. And I think he'll take on a more antagonistic role at the end there.
Well, yeah, he is trying to talk her out of the mission, because he's like, your uncle didn't sanction this. Like, you're kind of going off books here, and I'm worried about what the consequences are going to be. So I don't know, maybe he'll side with Kingpin at the end. Just like do whatever is safest for him in his life.
Yeah, because Kingpin is a scary dude, for sure.
Big links.
Big man indeed. How about the banter between both of the Hawkeyes, right? Especially when Clint gets his hearing aid taken out and broken, like he can't really hear. So there's this banter back and forth, but like one has to like look at the road while they're driving, one is like outside the car, so they can't really see each other, and like he can't read lips because he needs to keep his eye on the road. So they're talking at one another and never actually communicating, and often end up saying the same thing for this comedic effect. And I thought that was amazing.
I did like that immediately after the fight, the first thing she's thinking about is, heck, we gotta walk the dog. And then he's talking at her like, you know what, kid, you did good. You are a really great archer. Like he's imagining that she's bragging or something as her first words after the fight. And then he's like, we should check on that dog.
Yeah.
I also like that
all day.
Echo sees his hearing aid, believes that he is entirely without hearing without it, and has relied on sign language throughout his life as she has. She takes it out, and he only knows enough sign language to say, I'm hard of hearing, but I'm not fluent in sign language. Sorry. He knows that. I love you. And could you imagine he's learning this with his kids?
More cookies,
he's picking
please.
this up with his kids. Right. So he knows kid phrases like, more cookies, please. Yum. I like that. I like that he's really a beginner in this. And we're going to get to see him grow.
Yeah. That was neat. But yeah, I like how when he says that, he's like, hey, I'm only hard of hearing, I'm not deaf. Her response is then like, hey, you'll actually be better off without that. Like, you'll be stronger. Not as a call to like, hey, if you're deaf, you don't need a hearing aid. You can do it on your own. Be a super. But like, I think for him in this case, it is this neat thing of like, hey, you don't need to rely on this, and you can be strong with it or without it. And she thinks like, hey, you'll be stronger without it. Like you aren't this piece of equipment, right? Like you are more than that, which is neat. It was a good response to all of that. There's just like that, and like we said, the conversation on the phone with his kid, and he can't hear his kid and has to have Kate like write all the stuff down. Heartbreaking. But all of these emotional moments were so good.
And like you don't realize that because you don't see the screen of the phone. You don't know like who he sees as the caller ID. He doesn't recognize, like he can't. His hearing is so lower that he can't even tell whose voice it is who is speaking to him. Till Kate walks up and writes him the note like it's a little boy. It's your littlest guy. It's Nathaniel. It was very touching. I like that it kind of brings Kate into the fold. It makes her more intimately aware of what the stakes are for Hawkeye, not just logically. You know, he's mentioning his kids he has to get back home to, but now she's heard one of the kids. She's been part of the conversation with one of the kids. And, you know, she's going to try that much harder to get him back home in time to do that. And when you were first getting this call from Nathaniel, you are worried, like, did somebody trace this back? Is somebody going after Laura and the kids? And then he's just like, I'm bored. I woke up early. Everyone's still asleep, Dad. I'm bored. I love that it's a low stakes call. Nothing actually important is happening. He just misses his dad.
Yeah, but it seems like Clint often also doesn't tell the family exactly what he's up to for their safety, right? Like they all know that he does this stuff, but these specifics, at least until it's all done, he doesn't really tell them. So there is this awkwardness.
Yeah, Laura probably has a good idea of what's happening, but the kids are just told, Dad's at work. Dad's going to help somebody.
Indeed. Let me ask you this to wrap things up. What are you looking forward to in the second half of this show? What do you want more of? Or is there something that we have yet to really find out yet that you're interested in?
Just the same plot hooks as anybody else. When are we going to get that Kingpin reveal? When is Yelena coming in? I wonder if we're ever going to find out more about Kate's aunt, whose apartment they're crashing in, or if the movie poster, like that's all we're going to get. We don't need it. I just think it's an interesting little bonus addition, and I'm curious if the aunt will become, if we're going to continue to follow Kate throughout her superhero and personal life, if the aunt will become a character or if this is purely just for plot reasons, so they have a place to be at. Who knows?
Yeah.
And we haven't, this episode took us away from her mom's not in it. Jack shows up just at the very end. We're not really involved in that murder mystery. So looks like episode 4 will take us back with that. Find out who stabbed Armand, why, with what, with what of the 50 swords that are around.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm interested more in that as well. Also, this watch that seems to be MacGuffin of the series somewhat. And then I've heard some people talking about their like penthouse apartment. Like why did they choose to rebuild that? It just seems like maybe there's something important going on there. Maybe not at all. And it's just like, well, hey, this has been in this home has been in our family for generations, so might as well keep it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe there's nothing there, but yeah,
is there something hidden in the walls? Is it?
Seems like there's 2 or 3 plots kind of going on, and I can't wait for them to kind of crash into one another here. So looking forward to all of
Christmas backdrop. What Christmas tropes will we hit? Will there be a gingerbread house at any point? Will there be a Santa? Do we have to run past a mall where a Santa is? Will they go ice skating at Rockefeller Center? Will they just have to run across the ice rink? Like that episode of Mr.
Arrows
Robot.
Will we see next? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. More arrows.
Yeah, good stuff with that. Well, I think that about wraps us up for our reactions for this week on Hawkeye episode 3. So Melissa, where can the people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit. That's WILKYWIT. And listen to my other podcast, Saturday Morning Obscurities.
There you go. You guys can find me at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter. And if you guys want to stay up to date with all the stuff that we do here at The Whatnauts, we are at The Whatnauts on Twitter. So please go like, share, subscribe, and help us spread the word. That would be amazing. And we will be back next week for Hawkeye episode 4. So until then, peace. Bye.
Bye.